What? That's why these type of guys, these type of dudes in particular, these are the ones who feel emasculated when a woman tells them no. They feel emasculated when a woman doesn't want them. They feel emasculated when a woman walks past them without dropping to their knees and praising their being. Back at you with another video. If you was in a live last night, thank you guys so much. We had a good time. You guys got me a bunch of copyrights for playing music. I did not know you couldn't play music on a YouTube live. Now we know. So if you're seeing this, subscribe button, like button, hit the notification bell so that way if you wasn't in the live, you could be in the next live. Leave a comment if you're liking the content. We're going to touch on academics sitting down with Donald Trump Jr. being, we're going to talk about it. Let's go.
You doing? You're just
exactly, and that's why even like I like what even Nelk did. They wanted to, which by the way I just thought that was a no-brainer, right? Like, I can't even believe there's a. So you're telling me that you're having a former president interview with a podcast that's super huge among American teenage and men in their 20s. They want to be informed, but informed in a way that they can relate to.
Let's stop right there and specify that the Nug Boys audience isn't black people. It isn't women. It isn't anybody who's brown. It's white men. So once again, you're making it seem as if you're advocating as if what he did by going on the Nug Boys was beneficial to anybody but white men, which is a consistent theme in Donald Trump's entire history, that he doesn't necessarily look at the black community at all. And I only have a problem with this when there's a black man sitting here advocating on behalf of him. But it makes sense. Once again, Akademiks is a millionaire. When you see celebrities align themselves with Donald Trump, ask yourself this: why? The question is always why. I say this every time I talk about politics. I'm not here to say Akademiks can't vote for Trump. He can vote for whoever he chooses to. The reasoning is always more important than the action. Why is he supporting Donald Trump? You never hear any of these black men, especially the rich ones, that support Donald Trump ever tell you why they're supporting him. And if you ask me, once again, I know politics. Politics is a game. If he's paying these guys off, that's fine. If these guys are willing to sacrifice their stance in the black community to align themselves with someone who doesn't care about black people, then that's fine. These guys don't got morals anyway. You seen 50 Cent just yesterday go and say, I see black men aligning themselves with Trump because they got RICOs. Well, shit, 50? I don't got a RICO. You don't got a RICO. Ja Rule don't got a RICO. Joe Budden don't got a RICO. Akademiks don't got a RICO. Who are these mass amounts of black men with RICO charges? Once again, you're using the rhetoric of blackness is equal to criminality as a way to press an issue that isn't there. Black men do not overarchingly have RICO charges against them, not even overarchingly have charges in their name. See, this is the issue, is that once again, you see these black men, and 50 is beloved in the black community. So it's really, I'm really interested in seeing if he's going to expound further in what he's saying versus just saying things and then being 50 and really just like shrugging his shoulders at shit. But let's go.
Hearing people shooting the shit and kind of getting that information that way.
You hear it from a trans activist on MSNBC.
Exactly.
Like, that's not the same.
A trans activist from MB. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking? I have to believe most of these dudes who live with the LGBT community on their brain just really, really, really are just closeted. And I hate to have to be the person to say that. Like that, where did that come from, bro? Why is that just on your brain like that? What is up with you dudes?
So why should that be like completely censored?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're kind of there. Yeah, we're kind of there though. So it's like it's at a, you know, I'm hoping that these things change. And usually I think things work like very, you know, cyclical, which it'll go to one extreme then kind of come back.
Yeah,
and then eventually always like narrow out to the middle. Yeah.
That people are like, whoa, slow down, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's why you're getting, you know,
it's like feminism.
Changing
It's like
they come in around like, okay, well, you know, maybe it's not.
Yeah, it's like how kind of like how feminism, like, well, in theory, no one wants to not have rights for women, and then
that's a lie. That is a lie. That's clearly a lie. We can see it in the policies that Republicans are pushing now. We can, like, I don't get why we get to say things willy-nilly. Well, I do. I understand completely. People like academics don't really like, and as a man, I'm guilty of this to some extent too. We kind of just don't really be caring enough about women. And I don't mean this just about black women. I mean women in general. We just don't be giving a fuck. And what needs to happen is we all have sisters, we all have mothers, we all have women in our lives that we love and respect, but we'll ignore their plight because, one, it doesn't necessarily affect us as men, and for two, to some extent, a lot of these dudes don't feel like women have any plights, and it's just interesting. And I'm not like super, like, I'm not a super like feminist dude. Like, I think there's some ground in it, and I think it does get to an extreme at some point. But also, as a black man who feels like there is no extreme to what I'm willing to do for my people. Like, what I'm willing to go through for my people, how hard I'm willing to advocate on behalf of my people. So at the same time, when I see women advocating their plight, it doesn't make my heart hurt. It doesn't make me mad. It doesn't make me want to fight back against women. I don't get why these dudes are like this, bro. Like, these dudes, honestly, these dudes are really the red pill dudes. Like, these are the dudes, and we know this for sure with academics, and this is probably true to Trump Jr. There's probably not a woman he's ever had any type of relationship with that was meaningful, that wasn't with him because they had money. You get what I'm saying? And with academics, we know he probably wasn't getting no women before he got popping. So I can see how these two weirdos get together and start advocating against women's rights. Like, what are we talking about?
It got so extreme. Like, let's basically just emasculate all dudes. Then you get like,
now you feel emasculated. Why? I think like you see these are the type of dudes that hate the whole Me Too movement. These are the guys that hate the fact that men were being held accountable for being weirdos and being creeps. You get what I'm saying? To some extent, you can look at some of these cases and go, some are weaker than others, or some are not as egregious as others. But at the end of the day, as men, we need to have decorum. We need to be disciplined. We need to have the ability to dictate and control our own environment. And we shouldn't be putting ourselves in position around women who might see you as a come up. You get what I'm saying? So yes, there's very few cases. I think they said 2% of assault claims by women are actually lies. So I'm going off the statistics. If 2% of them are lies, I'm going to believe the women first every time. And if they end up being lying, then we treat them accordingly. But what are you talking about, dude? Like, you dudes are cucks, bro.
Certain type of like red pill and all these. It's like it's always a response to.
You see that in all these. I mean, to be like a straight dude right now.
Yeah.
Brutal. Like, yeah. Feminine, like, but then like, and then all the women probably like, how come no guy wants to date? It's like, you just stuck every dude on a corner and you chopped their fucking face off.
How come nobody wants to date? Because you stuck every dude on the corner and chopped his off. That's not what happened. That only happens to weak men. Sorry to tell you. To all of the red pill dudes, let me explain to you what really happened. Women found their voice, and you just don't like what they're saying. That's it. You don't like what they're saying. You don't like being challenged. Especially white men. You don't like being challenged. You don't like being the center. You don't like not being the center of attention. You don't like feeling like every woman wants you. And guess what? That's why these type of guys, these type of dudes in particular, These are the ones who feel emasculated when a woman tells them no. They feel emasculated when a woman doesn't want them. They feel emasculated when a woman walks past them without dropping to their knees and praising their being. Real men understand that women are everything, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, in general, they nurture the children. They're the piece to every man's existence, whether that be your mother, your sister, your best friend, any female, like the female. Like, I don't get why we sit here and act like when a woman wants to want what she wants, we need to be against it. There's also the right to remain silent. There's a lot of things that goes on in feminist culture that me as a man don't really always agree with, but I don't always have to vocalize my disagreement. I don't get why every time a woman says, if a woman comes and says every dude's a predator, I don't have to be like, not me. You're not talking about me. I know you're not talking about me. It's called emotional control. I know who I am as a person, and if you say something and it doesn't apply to me, I let it go. It's these dudes who genuinely, and perfect example of academics and everything he got going on, but these dudes, realistically, they've never had real companionship with a woman, at least no real meaningful companionship with a woman, and you see it when they talk. You let these dudes talk long enough, and this is what you get.
Like, if I was a gay guy, I would be uncancelable.
Oh yeah.
But as a straight guy, you better watch your fucking mouth.
You gotta go trans.
That's a lie. What's homeboy Spacey? That dude got canceled real fast. And mind you, he was assaulting men, and they canceled him real fast. So let's not sit here and act as if like this whole, I don't even want to get into it, yo.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta go trans. That's the ultimate.
This dude really likes trans women and men. I feel like he has a fetish, and he doesn't know how to express it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in 4 or 5 years these dudes come out, not academics necessarily, but this cuck right here, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets caught running around with like a Taiwanese, one of them Taiwanese boys that dress like women. I would not be surprised. These dudes, like, you just sitting here with trans on your mind, bro. Like, on your mind, bro. Like, that gotta be a sick brain to have, like, where you can't even go make a bowl of cereal at 3:00 in the morning because you got munchies without thinking like a trans person is gonna pop up at your window, dude. You need help.
That's the ultimate privilege, man.
Yo, this guy.
Trans, like,
I bet it is. I bet you think it is. I bet you think it is. It's the same way. It's funny because that's also how y'all feel about black people. Y'all feel like black people have all of the privilege now, huh? Cucks, man.
There's this guy. His name is Joe Budden. He's not even gay. He's not gay. But you know what? He realized the
Now you want to throw Joe under the bus.
climate. He says, just to let everyone know, I'm bisexual. Okay, I'm with that community, and he's only saying that he could kind of cross a couple lines without people like trying to get him out of here. It's kind of sad, the world we live in, man.
I joke like with my boy.
I just want to specify this: like, neither one of these dudes are in any way, shape, or form what people would identify as masculine. I want to specify that neither one of these dudes would be considered masculine, even on a man scale. And it's just funny that when you look at these two dudes, like Donald Trump Jr., really timid, awkward, probably has antisocial tendencies, probably didn't do well in schools. Like, I'm sure his report card said, doesn't work well with others. You get what I'm saying? Then you got DJAkademiks, sits in a house all day, makes videos. When you do see him interact with women, it's always negative. You can tell he wasn't a guy who had a lot of female interaction growing up. Like, I don't even want to go into the red pill stuff of being in shape and all of that, but like, you can just tell these two dudes aren't what you would identify as masculine. I'm sure we know for a fact, anybody run down our academics, he's not protecting himself or his woman. He's out of there. He'll tell you. He's out of there. He'll go on the internet, talk all that shit about people's lives, people's character, people's personality, and then be like, and I'm going to call the cops if you come holler at me. Come on, bro. You dudes are cowards, man.
Boys that are like my 15-year-old or something like that who kind of gets him. He's like, hey dude, like, you want to get into college? Like, you got to be trans because you ain't getting it. As a white boy with the last name Trump, you're fucked, man. Like, you ain't going to school, so we got to come up with a game plan for you.
Well, apparently it's getting pushed through schools like that agenda, right? So like, how do you?
Well, that's the craziest thing. I mean, our daughter was in a school like in New York City, at one of these top schools. That's one of these places that sends their kids to the Ivy League. And you saw the craziness with the Ivy League over the last couple of months. Is it a violation of your policy to say, to call for the genocide of, how is this is not a trick question. Like, this is, at any other stage in our time, like, I'd been.
That's not what the question entailed, and that's not what the person who said it said. What they said was, is it in your policy to call for the genocide of, those people? And they said it's in our policy to allow people to have the right to speech. It's not just in our policy, it's in the Constitution. So the school is saying, all right, in our policy, we could say we don't want that type of speech. But in law, they have the right to speak how they choose to. And not even necessarily, because that amendment really was made for press. It was really made for freedom of press. Freedom of speech is a freedom of press thing. But it's like, what do you mean? Like, if I come out and say Black Lives Matter and you say all lives matter, I don't get to stop you from saying that. Now, I don't have to like it. And in the real world, there may be real world consequences that come behind that. But there's no cop who's going to come and say, oh, you're under arrest for saying all lives matter. Even though black people might deem that slogan as just a counter protest to black plight. I don't these dudes love to spin the narrative. I've noticed that these people want to be the victims now. They want to be the victims.
And thrown out of school in 2 seconds if I said anything like these people are saying. And they're up there on, I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. And you're right. That indoctrination has taken over our schools. It's broken.
It's not an indoctrination. Wanting people to be free to speak how they choose to is an indoctrination.
I got in trouble saying it basically in 16, but I think it holds true again. Like when you're talking, he was talking to the African American community, and it was like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Is there a great success going on? In Baltimore schools or in wherever? Like, no. Like they're failing miserably. Like.
This is actually great because, fine, what do you have to lose? We could take that in 16. He's been president. What have we gained? Let's talk about the schools in general. What schools? Donald Trump purposely took the funding for HBCUs out of the budget, and then a Congress member had to come in and fight to get those HBCU funding back put into the budget. So, all right, cool. What do we have to lose? You can't say that now because we already know that he didn't do anything. I genuinely don't get it. I'm pretty much done with this video. I do want to see what Axe says.
Just because someone...
Look at him, just dumbfounded. I agree with everything you're saying. Donald Trump Jr., you're 100% right. I'm ready to tap dance and break dance for you in the middle of this room.
Yeah, there was a thought and fear that, we're going back to 1700 slavery again.
I get it, but that's like driven by the media, right?
No.
It's not driven by the media. The media reports policy, and then people... At least for me, the media reports policy, and I make I got my perspective based off policy. And since we're here and talking about policy, I pulled something up earlier where we can speak about some of the Republican policy. So let's make sure you guys can see this. Just in case, I just want to be sure. Just in case, let's make sure you can see this. In Mississippi, Republicans in the House voted to make a separate court system in the city of Jackson, the blackest city in America, that would be entirely appointed by white state officials. In Texas, Republicans are prioritizing bills to enact new voting restrictions, including a bill that would allow for the appointing of election marshals to investigate violations of election law. No, what I want you to understand, what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a system in which people can attack, can threaten, and make people feel uncomfortable while doing one of their fundamental rights, which is voting. They want people to sit outside of voting booths and polls and yell at people and call them traitors and all of that. That's what they're doing. In Missouri, Republican lawmakers are attempting to ban the teaching of critical race theory and encouraging teachers to instead take a course on patriotism. Critical race theory isn't anything that's taught before the college level. So this isn't even realistically something that's happening on a day-to-day level in schools, period. Critical race theory is a theory. It's a theory. It is not a curriculum, but it is something that's being taught mostly in law about how law affects black people versus white people. So yeah, there's that. Governor Ron DeSantis recently blocked AP African American History from Florida schools, the Florida school curriculum, citing a 2022 law passed by the GOP-controlled legislator. And all that means is he doesn't want African American. He doesn't want history to be taught the way it happened. That's it. Genuinely. They're also trying to take the word slave out of books and change it with a different word, even though it's slavery. Like, I want you to understand that AP African American History is an advanced course. So they're not even teaching this to kids on a regular ed level. They're not even teaching this to kids on a regular ed level. Usually your AP classes are advanced from the standard classes that you would take in school. Because you're already advanced in that level, we want to teach you more. And let's say it's AP Algebra. We might teach you more advanced strategies or more advanced algebraic concepts. Like, this isn't even something that you're just going to school on a regular ed level and being taught. Also in Florida, GOP legislators introduced a permitless carry bill allowing anyone in the state to carry weapons without training or a license. We know Florida's racist. We know what that means. That means who even, I don't even want to talk about it. But there's more here. In Minnesota, Senator Aaron May Quad, whatever his name is, introduced legislation to appropriate $520,000 to support care for black mothers during and after pregnancy. These are things Democrats are doing. I just want it to be known that, like, when we talk about, like, my aversion to Trump has little to do about knowing he's a racist, knowing he's a misogynist, knowing he cares about no one but himself. It has everything to do with knowing that these people are actively making moves so that we don't succeed as a people. That is it. And to any of the Trump supporters, black, brown, white, or blue, who don't like what I'm saying, I don't want your comments. If you leave a comment, I'm going to let my comment section handle you. Genuinely, I don't care for you. I don't care for your ideas. Go do that on a Fox News page. Go do that on a Newsmax page. Don't do it here. Nothing I'm saying is speculation. This is facts. You people don't believe in facts and you don't care. As far as the academic supporters who tend to jump in my comment section to advocate for app, I am accountable to the culture, not a fan base. I am accountable to the culture, not a fan base. I don't care about your fandom. ACT doesn't care about your fandom. With that being said, I'm out.